This is a revised comparison between electric semis and diesel semis. The names I'm using in here are not, I'm not plugging the companies or anything like that. I'm only using some data that I got off the internet. But I did a more intensive study to look at the difference between electric versus diesel. I seen that in my last video, which was not a very, it was a short, it was very short, and there was a lot of stuff missing in there, and the comparison was terrible. Brought to my attention by one of the viewers, but and I'm going to link him on here, so just for the hell of it. But I'm going to pick on Freightliner um, because I own one. I love my Freightliner. It's been good to me. I hope it don't get mad at me. But I'm going to stick with the Freightliner, and I'm going to do a Freightliner e-truck versus a Freightliner diesel, and I'm going to show comparison. The only data on here that's not exactly accurate will be the revenue. The revenue is based on what I've done over the past and kind of fraudulent numbers, but it doesn't matter because those numbers are kind of accurate in a way, and they'll give you a definite outlook on what the results are. And I'm going to zoom in on that in just a second here, but I want to just go over it. So the Freightliner, it's called an e-Cascadia, and the other truck is just a Freightliner Cascadia. But the data that I'm using is coming from a Columbia, which is what I own. But it's going to be roughly the same thing. So we're going to get to that shortly. But before we do that, I always start this way here. Let's get our coffee ready, and we're going to get to it just shortly. So let's do this. Okay, here is my Excel spreadsheet, and I'm going to explain what I got going on here and show you exactly my thoughts. My data came from Grok, and I just asked the stupid questions like, what does a Freightliner Cascadia cost? And it's showing me from 150,000 to 200,000 for a new one. So they're showing a cost of 150,000 to 200,000. And what I did is I looked and seen what the normal length of financing is, and it usually 60 to 80 months, just to be 60. If you and this price here is um, um, based on the maximum. So I'm saying that I'm going to buy a $200,000 Cascadia. My payment is going to be 33333. So it's 3,300 per month. Okay. So if I buy the E Cascadia, it runs 400,000 to 500,000. 60 months, the price is $8,333 a month. Now, if you stretched it out, you can get the payment will be lower. Without a doubt, it would come down. But finance charges over that length of time is going to be more too. So I'm saying, and then 60 months is a long time. So now let's look at. I looked up a couple of things. I looked up insurance. Okay, for the electric, 1,500 a month, diesel, $1,200 a month. Then what I did is I wanted to look at diesel fuel, and this is really accurate kind of data. Diesel fuel where I buy it, which is Iowa, is $2.99. So I got it at $3 a gallon. I can put it anywhere you want to look at it. If I was in Chicago, it's 3.699, and that'll change all the numbers, and that's fine. So if I pay 3.70 a gallon for diesel fuel in Chicago, and my average is 6.5 miles per gallon, which is empty maybe, and I go 500 miles, it's going to cost me $284.54. So $230 basically to go 500 miles. When I did the calculations for the e-Cascadia, it does 250 miles. And they're saying that the cost will be about $135 to do that, to charge. Now that's going to be $135 each way because I'm trying to go 585 miles and the e-Cascadia can't really do that. So I'm going to change this to the right numbers, which would be 270. It's actually coming to the same price as this. The only bad part is that there is a hour and a half charge time. And I know it's going to change all the figures on my calculations and stuff like that. And it's kind of screwed me up. But that's only because of right now they only have this size battery, the 438 kilowatt, and it's not big enough. If I had a Tesla, which goes 500 miles, it would work better. But I started with the calculations for the e-Cascadia, so I'm going to stick with that just to get the report done. But still, because of the cost, you can see now down here, the bottom line is going to be lower than I originally projected. So this is where I'm at on this here. I'm going to try to finish out the report. But from what I'm seeing here, e-Cascadia won't work because it would require another charge. I'd have to stop and charge it again. Just a little bit, but I'd have to stop because 500, I'll be 85 miles short. That doesn't work. I need that full 585 to get me back to the shop. And that doesn't work with the e-Cascadia. Okay, so here we are at revenue. The revenue here, let me go down there. The revenue is based on something that I did, and it's not actual numbers, but it's going to be generated numbers enough to show you how this is working. If you can make $1,000 a day for 5 days, that would equal this revenue. This revenue is it's $500 a day. So that's revenue. So the next thing is truck cost. If you get the Cascadia diesel, that's $569 a week. If you get the electric, it's $1,923 a week. If you get the insurance for the diesel, it's $288, and for the electric, which is a little more high because the truck value is higher, is $346 a week. So the cost of the fuel, which for the diesel fuel is approximately correct, the one that's going to be off a little bit is going to be this one here for the electric. It's probably going to be more than that, which is going to be more than the diesel in this scenario. To where Chicago, Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and then back to Chicago. It will be more expensive. But there's going to be a time charge because of this. Hour and a half to charge it. One charge is not enough to do this round trip. The round trip is $585. So, but we're going to let that go and we're going to say, okay, we can do it, and we're going to do it with the 270. So anyway, for calculating purposes, so fuel for the week is going to be roughly the same time. I know that you're thinking, no, electric's going to be cheaper. It's a little cheaper than that if you was to charge it at your own terminal. But out someplace charging it, but it's not real. You can't say, I'm going to run home and get electric and charge my truck back up so I can continue the route. You can't do it. You're going to rely on public charger. And if you get one that's a high speed charger, dollars or more. They charge more money because it has more. But anyway, so we're going to leave that there. Now, I went out on Grok and I got drivers, and they're telling me that a normal driver makes 52,000 a year. The elite drivers, I call them, make 75,000. So I think if you're a tanker driver, you'll get to 75, and if you're a regular freight driver, you're going to get 52. And that sounds about right. So in the breakdown, it's this. A weekly driver is a little over $1,000. I know that sounds a little light, but that's about what it is. And if it's electric, it's going to be the same price. So our next item is maintenance. There's a lot of truck maintenance for the diesel that's not going to be listed here. That $500 charge is an oil change every month. Oil change every month. You don't have that with an electric truck. So now what I did is it sums, my spreadsheet sums from here to here and puts the total right here in the total. For the diesel, the weekly total is $39.16. For the electric is $4,628 a week. Now, mind you, we did 5,000 revenue. So if you take 3,900 from 5,000, you get a little over 1,000. 4,600 from 5,000 is 371. So your electric truck is going to bring you in $371. But no, it's not, because we know that the fuel cost is going to be a little bit, there's time involved. So we're going to let that go, though. We're going to just say, it works, but it don't work. So if you look at it the way I have it here, there's a lot of stuff that's not in the story. What's not in the story of cost and stuff like that, license plate, $2,290, IFTA, just a lot of other little stuff like that, which is big money. License plate's $2,800 a year. IFTA's $550. Well, the $2,290 is $550. So you have a lot of costs. So this right here is showing you that the electric ain't going to work. And that's saying that I got a cheap driver. And the biggest part of all this is here. Revenue. You got to make $5,000 a week for this report to work. What if I make 4,500? Now look down here at the electric. Well, the truck still makes 580 for the diesel. But look at the electric. It's already in the hole. You can't run in the hole. Because once you get in the hole, you can't make it back. And that $128 in the hole for a week, look at the month. That's $585 for a month, and it's $6,000, almost $7,000 for a year deficit. So you can't make $4,500. Oh, you make $6,500. Oops. You can't. Let's try it again. You can't make $6,500. I'm telling you, you can't do it. Not in 5 days. That's not possible. As an owner-operator for 10 years, you can't do it. I'll be honest with you, you won't do 5,000. If you do 3,700, you'd be lucky. Well, look at 3,700, what it does. Even for the diesel, I'm in the hole, 216. The electric's in the hole, 1,000. And the only way to fix that would probably be, and I don't know if this works, but I'm going to try it. No, you're still in the hole. Even if I extend the loan payment out, it's still in the hole. See it? I extended it out to 80. It helps, but it's still in a hole. That $5,000 target is impossible. I cannot make $5,000 every week. I just can't do it. You have one time you might get a load that's 900. You'll get a load that's 700 or 600. Right there, you're dead. You can't make 5,000 every week. So the bottom line of this here, and I don't care how you view it and how I view it, you can't do it with an electric truck. Not what it costs in that much money. Even with a projected Tesla, and I have to change the money. Let me change this to 3,000, 300,000. With a $500 revenue with the cost of the e-Cascadia, same as the Tesla, with the payment only being $5,000 a month, then you would make, if you made 5,000 revenue, you can get it to where you're making $1,000 a week profit. It's not profit, but it's net to where you have money. So then, if you had a bad week of 4,000, you can do it basically on 4,000. But 4,000 is still hard to make. It is. I'm telling you. If you can do better than that, somebody drop me something in there. Drop me a message and tell me. Show me I'm wrong. I want to know. Because maybe I'm wrong and maybe I need to do something different because I can't do it. I can't average at 4,000. And to do 5,000, which that takes what I need for this calculations all the work, I can't maintain that. I can't maintain it. If somebody's got a better plan, drop me a line. I'd like to see that. But anyway, so in my comparison, I'm just showing you this here just for shits and giggles and kind of to look at it. Because you got to look at numbers in order to say, well, is it possible to make money with this? I myself, as an owner-operator, I don't see how you can do that. Even extending the Cascadia out to 80 months because just think of how much interest you're going to pay on that. Because this is not, these prices up here are not showing interest. They're not showing your finance charges. It's just a flat fee saying, okay, it's going to cost you $500,000 for that e-Cascadia. And we're going to set it at 60 months because I want to pay it off fast. It doesn't work. So this is my comparison. Diesel is the king of the road. The electric is not going to work as long as the cost is that high. Will that electric cost come down? Maybe someday. In the near future, I don't see it. I don't care. And Elon Musk, where it says 250,000 to 300,000 is bullshit, and I don't believe that either. So even if I plugged in Tesla numbers, even if I punched this in with the lowest number, the 250,000, it's still not going to work if you have one bad week. If you do a $3,500 a week, boom, in a hole. And I'll bet you, and correct me if I'm wrong, drivers, let me know. Leave a comment. If you make more than $3,500 every single week, if you don't, give me some data to work with. How much are you getting? I don't need exacts or nothing like that. Give me an idea on what you're knocking down. And how many days does it take you to do it? Are you gone for 7 days? Because if you're gone for 7 days, you could bring that revenue up. But remember, when you bring that revenue up, you bring the fuel charge, you bring the fuel up too. Because this fuel here is just, because right now I'm showing that my fuel is $1,349 a week to make $5,000. And that's roughly probably true if you're going to run those miles based on those. I'm looking at the miles to figure out how much fuel I needed, and that would be kind of tight. So can you do it with an electric truck? I don't see it. Drop the price down below that. Bring that price tag down to the Freightliner Cascadia cost of say 175,000 or something like that. I think maybe you can. I'd still be cutting it close because if you have one bad week, you'll never catch up. Because it's not like if I made 3,500, I'll make 7,500 next week. There's a cap. You could only make so much a day based on the rates from your company. You can't say, you know what, I'm gonna Next week I'm getting only the good loads in, so I'm going to make $8,000. That's not how that works. But anyway, this is what I got. And when I set this up, I didn't realize none of this. I had no real idea that these numbers would come this way. It happened once I started doing the spreadsheet. So if you want to sit down and do a spreadsheet and then brainstorm, that's the time to do it. You know what I mean? And if you want to make a video, I'll help you do it. I'll definitely help you do it in a heartbeat. I won't charge you nothing. I'll do it for fun. But yeah, this is just diesel, electric, no brainer. Diesel, king of the road. King of the road. Because and the one other thing to think about, you'll be now. I know what you just thought. You thought, well, I'm just going to run local with it, so I won't use as much electric. I won't have to charge it as much, and I'll knock down that cost. You're right, you will. But you're not going to make $5,000 a week running local. We're going to make 500 a day. That's $2,500. $2,500 won't work. 2,500. Trust me when I tell you, $2,500 won't work. I'm punching it in here right now just to give you an idea. And even if I knock your charge down, your Cascadia charge, 0. If you made $2,500 running local, which I doubt, you would have a surplus of $182. But that's saying that that e-Cascadia only costs you $250,000. So it's not working. It's not going to work. Not even local. It's that price. It's the price of that electric truck and revenue. Whatever you can't make $1 million a week hauling freight. To make a $2,500 a week don't sound like a lot of money. But go out there and try and make $2,500 for the week. But my spreadsheet needs $5,000 in order for it to qualify. And it shows that the e-truck won't work. If you have anything, and don't forget to do one thing. I want you to subscribe so that I can produce more videos. And hit that like if you like it down there, and leave me a comment. I got big shoulder. Let me know if you liked it, if you did what you didn't like, what if I said something or did something wrong. Please tell me. I need to know that. I'll fix it. I'll fix it. Peace and love, and try and be safe, drivers, if you can.